Welcome to GateSlashers, a podcast dedicated to kicking open the door to your next favorite thing. Our mission, our creed, and our code is this: to make all things more approachable and accessible for everyone. We want you to find a universe that you'll fall in love with. Today's subject is clowns.
I hate you so much.
For listeners at home, Ethan was covering his face with his arms as I was doing the voice. Ethan, how do you feel about clowns?
They'll be fine.
Are
the big opinions. I guess a circus is a thing here, but like big clowns and everything aren't really a thing over here.
I don't really think they're a thing over here. Like, they have them at fairs and stuff, but like in my entire life, without me being me, I have only ever been in the presence of a clown once. Like, my father's company had like a barbecue or something, and they had a clown there. And I'll never forget this because she had a button that said "Never trust a skinny clown." And that stuck with me my entire life.
Oh god, yeah, I honestly don't think I've ever seen a clown in person.
Really?
Nope.
Huh. I mean, it could change. You never know what's going to happen. October is still a couple more days.
Your bachelor party will happen at some point, I'm sure.
So I have a lot more of a history with clowns than most people do. I've dressed up as a clown many times. I've done many haunted houses as a clown. I've scared the shit out of people many times in clown makeup. It probably started with a friend of mine, Paige, in high school. Really good friend of mine. She was terrified of clowns. So me being the asshole that I am, dressed up as a clown for her Halloween party. But from there, I just have always been fascinated by the idea of clowns being something that brings fear to people. And it's just something that has always just like not confused me, because I've always understood the roots of it, but these things that were meant to bring joy and things like that are such a visceral fear for so many people. When at the end of the day, it's someone in grease makeup who can tie balloon animals and stuff together. I'm not trying to discount the profession and stuff like that. I'm just saying that's what most people know them for. But so do you know like any of the history of the clown?
Vagaties, mostly stuff I picked up from you talking about on like PlayStation chat when you do your clown voice.
So clowns, I'll try to keep it brief. Clowns can go back as far as like Egypt. There was clowns in, I want to say the fifth
century BC,
the 5th dynasty of Egypt. There we go. But I'm not going to get into all of that, like the Commedia dell'arte, all that kind of stuff. What we understand of a clown is from Joseph Grimaldi, who is from the UK. It was in the 1700s when he really brought about the idea of the red nose and all that kind of stuff that everyone knows a clown for today. Grimaldi actually is buried in, I think, London, but his grave is his grave is separate, but there is right in front of it, there is 2 casket shaped, it's like a xylophone type system. So like you can literally dance on his grave and make music. It's a very cool thing. I'll have to put a video up of it. Yeah, it's one of the places I really want to see when I come over to the UK, just because like he's the man who made the thing that has fascinated me my whole life. But there's a lot of different clowns that people know. One of the biggest faces is Emmett Kelly's, who was a clown during the Great Depression. His clown name was Weary Willie. That's the clown that has like he has like a big white frown around his lips. And he's not nothing, from what I understand, it's not a minstrel thing or anything with negative connotations. But he was during the Great Depression and trying to make people happy during a time where it didn't seem like there was a future or hope or anything like that. The clown itself really is for me, there's two ways that I go about it. There is the other, that it's an exaggeration of you. Like it's a person that has the exaggerated features. That's why you see their eyes are bigger or their mouth is bigger, because the things that they're doing with their face need to be exaggerated, and the makeup is what makes it even bigger. So it's exaggerating what we already have as humans. Then there's the entertainer. There's the one who is just doing things like balloon animals or telling jokes or doing magic tricks, things like that. But then you also have like the comedy dell'arte, where it's on stage and they're the jester. They're maybe holding up a mirror to society to mock priests or politicians or things like that, kind of like the jester type role. But it's all through their makeup and their clothing and kind of over the top nature of it all. One fun fact is that in order to kind of copyright your face paint, like your significant, like your shtick, you have to paint it on a egg. And you have to send it to, it's not the clown college, but it's pretty much the board of clowns for them to approve. They take that egg and then they put it in like there's this very large display case that they have of all of the different copyrighted clown faces. But that all changed. So like the idea of the clown changed in the 70s when, before I get into this, we are not a true crime podcast. I am not going to get into this too deeply. I do not believe in the exploitation of victims for content. So if I say anything wrong or anything like that, just know I'm not trying to be true crime here. John Wayne Gacy Jr. Was a serial killer in the 70s who killed, they had found a little bit over 30 dead young men that he had murdered, but he like hid them all in his basement. He was a pillar of his community. He owned two KFCs, I think. He had a history of violence and things like that, but he had a clown persona called Pogo the Clown. And he used to do children's parties and things like that. So the idea of the killer clown came about because of John Wayne Gacy Jr. And from there on, it has been off to the races, and clowns have never been the same. My biggest thing with clowns is another gatecrasher. RJ wrote a scene for a play where I actually played a clown. And me being years ago, I was more of a shitster than I am now. One night I did my makeup, or a couple nights I did it as his makeup. And after the show, I was in the crowd talking to people who came to see me. And an older gentleman came up to me. He had a Vietnam veteran hat on, and I thought he was about to yell at me because of everything. And he goes, "Young man, can I talk to you?" And I was like, "Oh no."
God.
Oh shit. Because I attract people who, in my life, I am always approached by strangers and weirdos, and weird things constantly happen to me, despite me wanting it to ever happen. But this time it was like one of the moments that was like, I still have his business card here just because it like was so impactful on me. He was like, "Thank you." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Thank you for like being a clown that was funny and like not like whatever it has become." And he told me about how when he came back from Vietnam, he was dealing with PTSD and he didn't know how to handle it. And he was like really depressed and all that kind of stuff. And he was just like, I didn't know what to do. And I just wanted, he told me he just didn't want to be alive anymore. But then he was like, what if I just used all this anger to like, and anger, sorrow, all that kind of stuff to make people happy. And he eventually just became a clown. And he used to do shows for like troops. He used to go to like the battleships and do shows. Like he used to just be a clown. Like that's what his profession. And he was telling me how nice it was for him to be able to see a clown and to make him laugh. And I was just like blown away that I was just standing there. Like I didn't perform as a clown, like appreciating the art form. Like I was just like, oh, goofy, silly. But like getting to hear someone actually be impacted by it who was a clown and like found purpose through it, and like I'll never do that makeup again just because it's so fucking shitty to do that. So that is why I have continued to be fascinated by clowns in general, not just in the horror aspect, but in the general aspect that it's just like this thing that even now persists despite movies like It, Killer Clowns, all those things existing. But back to the plot, It was published in 86. That is inspired by John Wayne Gacy. You got Pennywise, all that kind of stuff. You get things after that like Killer Clowns. You get them pretty much everywhere. Then when Ronald McDonald, I don't really have much to say other than Ronald McDonald is a clown who is literally every single person who is listening to this, you know who Ronald McDonald is. I would go so far to say as almost every human being knows who Ronald McDonald is, or the Joker, or a number of different clowns. But things changed in 2016 when in Green Bay, Wisconsin, there had been reports of clowns wandering around graveyards and hanging out by like edges of streets, just holding balloons, waving at people. And it just started this super fucking weird year in American history where every night there was a different news story about clowns just being out there. My favorite time period, because it was so, I don't remember any stories of anybody actually getting hurt, but it was so weird. It was just a weird time that there was just a clown out and about scaring the shit out of people, which made the McDonald's company retire Ronald McDonald for a couple of years. Only until recently have we started seeing him again. Like that's how big of an impact a bunch of weirdos dressed as clowns made. That they made them retire Ronald McDonald. But yeah, let's talk about It. What was your exposure to It growing up? Because there was the original.
Yeah, so I've never seen the original, but just from general cultural osmosis, that image of Tim Curry in the sewers is the one I've known probably all my life. Like as a reason why I never watched it when I was younger.
Yeah, Tim Curry is just like a scary man. He's one of the funniest actors ever, but he's also fucking terrifying.
But yeah, then after that, then like I was into Stephen King. Like I read a few of his books, but I'd never read it, given this 1,000 odd pages. And then this first film came out in 2017. I loved it. So then I finally went and read the book as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I have read it now, but I hadn't prior to seeing the film.
Okay, I've got questions about that then.
God.
Not what you think about.
No, you're not going to ask about that chapter that no one ever wants to talk about.
Nope, I do not want to talk about it either.
Okay.
Stephen King and his cocaine addiction can be left in the past. But you liked it enough to go read a 1,000-page book?
Yes.
Damn.
It took me a while because it was like, with work and everything, it was just putting time aside. But yeah, I did read it.
That's wild. I bought it. I bought it right when we got Dinah. So she was a puppy. I got it not knowing how long it was. I got it, and I was like, no fucking way.
Just this massive fucking tome arriving at your door.
So I put it on, I think, Scarlett's desk, and Dinah took it and just destroyed it. And I was like, oh, darn. Guess I can't read it now. Darn. Darn. Damn, dog. I'll never read it. As much as I love it, my feelings are known on Stephen King. I just don't like him. I don't like. This is the only horror that he has written that I like. That's it. I love his fiction. I love his non-horror. So good. But this is the only one that has ever worked for me. I saw 1 and 2 with RJ, actually, who is a huge Stephen King fan. You didn't listen to the Stephen King episode last year or 2 years ago. It's been a long time. You can listen to that. Jake and I actually fight Pennywise in that one. But they don't talk about it at all in the Stephen King episode.
It's really funny.
It is very funny that they don't talk about it. So now I get to talk about it. It is, and you know what? Me talking a moment ago about clowns, now I see it. Like, I'm literally sitting at my desk. I have a Killer Clowns coaster. I have the Killer Clowns doormat behind me. I have a clown skull on my bookshelf, which right next to it is all of my different grease paints for clown makeup. I just love clowns. And Pennywise is... Both performances are some of the great... They are the greatest horror performances of clowns. And I do, before we get into talking about the films themselves, I do want to talk about it just a moment, because I don't want to get horror canceled. Why we're not talking about Terrifier. I think it are the best entryways into horror about clowns. I think they are very good representations of why people are afraid of them. I think it is a fear of the other. It is a manifestation of fear. In something that is innocent but corrupted, because that is what the children are going through. All of them are dealing with different types of trauma, and Pennywise is a representation of that, because something that should be so innocent and carefree and brings joy to the world, such as youth, is stolen away by something so horrible. Terrifier, I like Art the Clown a lot. You and I have had this discussion. I like Art the Clown a lot, but I do not think he is a good representation of clowns, because he doesn't talk. I think, and it's funny, he's all black and white. He's more of a mime than he is a clown. And I think that's a hot take on my part. He just doesn't, other than his like little horn and stuff, he's not doing typical clown stuff. And I'm not trying to clown shame him here, but it's just not a good. I would never, if someone was like, hey Dan, what horror movie should I watch? I would never put Terrifier in their hands. It is ultra violent. It is explicit. Like, it's just, I love, like, I have a lot of fun with those movies, but I'm not going to say, hey, if you want to see something scary with clowns, go watch them first, because you'll never want to see anything else. So that is why we're not talking about Terrifier. Because they're just too much for me to say, hey, this is a really accessible point for anyone, and it's just not approachable for someone who's not typically open to horror. But I think it balances horror, and you might be better at this. I'm trying to find a word that better captures movies that are like, they encapsulate like that, like, youthful imagination and like feeling. And the only way I've been able to describe them is like early Amblin films.
Yeah, it's Amblin-esque. Yeah, you see a lot of stuff like that, especially now with post Stranger Things. Like, obviously, the film itself does fall into that post Stranger Things thing, especially seeing as one of those kids is in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a ton of stuff of late for hit. You've got a Star Wars show coming out in a couple of months that's been billed as an Amblin-esque show.
Mm-hmm.
It's
so it really has that energy. I think another hot take here, but I think these two movies are better than all of Stranger Things. I think they're just better.
Also, for anyone who doesn't know, Amblin-esque, Amblin production company, big in the 80s, made the Goonies.
Steven Spielberg's
stuff. Yeah.
So Gremlins was their first movie or their second movie?
Did Poltergeist fall under Amblin as well?
I think so.
And I think I remember. I think wasn't Poltergeist before Gremlins, because it was the two of them and Temple of Doom that led to the PG-13 rating.
Gremlins is first. 1984 to present, and then Back to the Future, then American Tail, then Land Before Time, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Jurassic Park, Twister, Men in Black, The Mask of Zorro. These are all movies that are they have a timeless feel to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, I cannot get over how much, and I just rewatched them today and yesterday, and I've seen them many times since they came out, but every time I watch them, I appreciate them more, and I'm like, these are just great movies. And I really think anyone who is looking for something to watch for Halloween and the spooky season, these are two movies that I always recommend.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on the show before, but before 2016, 2017, I wasn't a horror guy at all. I would actively avoid horror.
You were a scaredy cat.
I was a scaredy cat. It was probably down to me watching the Texas Chainsaw 2003 remake when I was like 7 years old.
That's me with the original.
And that just put me off horror for a good few years, except for Scream. Love Scream. Used to love Scream. I won't be watching the next one, but that's another thing altogether. Yeah. But yeah, then it was like 2016, 2017. I started like I should just watch them just because there's so many classic films I've just not watched because it's got a connotation of being scary. And then so yeah, It Chapter 1 comes out in 2017, and that was like a big gateway, like a unlock in in my brain of like just putting me into the thing of now I can watch horror and not even really get scared.
Yeah,
like I'll find it scary, but I won't be like to the point of I'm going to have nightmares tonight anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm glad you're not having nightmares.
This 27-year-old, why he's screaming in his sleep.
Hey, Finn. Hey, why are you screaming?
You know,
your mom bashes open the door with a baseball bat. I'll get him, Nathan. I'll get him, love. Oh fuck! But yeah, I think you're. Now that you say it, I think these are actually just like great gateways to horror from that Stranger Things vibe.
Because they like obviously take the horror element from Stranger Things and up it. It's a lot gorier. There's a lot more violent in terms of themes and stuff. Like, there's a lot of themes this plays with that are very adult and scary in non-horror specific ways. But yeah, it just like is like, you know, if you watch Stranger Things as a young teenager, it makes you could go into it then and you like when you're 16, 17 and get something out of it, I think.
Yeah, the opening is horrific.
Both openings.
Mm-hmm. So
God.
Just be weary that there are some heavy topics in these movies.
Yeah.
Including racism, homophobia, SA, and some other things.
Mm-hmm.
It's heavy, but it I don't think it detracts a lot from the film. Like, I think if you're going in knowing that it is there, I think you'll be okay. But at your own discretion, just be aware that it is in there. I don't want you to go in and be blindsided by that. But let's get into actually talking about these films.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll start with chapter 1 because that makes more sense.
Yeah, we might as well work through it.
Yeah. So chapter 1 came out in 2017, directed by Andy.
I believe it's Muschietti.
There you go. Good enough. Where do you want to start?
We might as well just start with that opening with Georgie.
Yeah. They show a kid get fucking mauled.
His arm gets bitten off.
And then he's like dragging himself in the ring. When we went to see it, I was not expecting it to be that
so
much.
Violent.
I was like, holy shit, we're in for something different. Because even now, like we're sorry to bring up Terrifier again, but we're seeing this big debate about like, are kids off limits in horror movies? And like, I don't think they should be. I think it's really scary to see.
Then I didn't see that argument with these films.
Exactly. Like he's literally going after kids. Pennywise is eating kids. Okay, you read the book. I've got questions about this before we get into these movies. Pennywise is a celestial being.
Yes.
Does he feed on fear or does he feed on children? Or both?
It has been, 7 years since I read the book at this point, so I'm a bit hazy. I think I want to say it's more youthful energy, but again, I'm hazy. I'm getting like different readings confused.
That's he just feeds on. He needs them to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're introduced to him the same way we were in the original, where he's in the sewer and he's like, "Oh, come on over here. I got something to show you."
Oh, hi, Georgie.
Hi, Georgie. Like it's. I'll talk about Bill Skarsgård in length whenever I'm needed to, but the introduction of Pennywise is so fucking scary with those eyes in the sewer.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite parts of that scene when there's a cat on someone's porch, just kind of watching this all happen, and he you watch the cat just staring at this whole situation. Then whoever his owner is calls him inside. He's like, "All right, I'm good."
No, it's even worse because the old woman who's the cat's owner, she looks at she's Georgie looking into the sewer. She turns around, then all the stuff with Georgie happens. As she turns back, Georgie's gone. There's just a pool of blood, but she doesn't do anything. She just walks back inside.
And the whole town's kind of under this spell.
Yeah.
All the adults are fucked.
It's...
And I think it's... I don't know if it's a part of the book or anything, but everyone is vile as an adult.
Oh yeah. It's very much about the degradation of the small American community.
Yeah. It's rough. Yeah, it's that whole scene is just so well directed. And one thing I always forget to do in these episodes when we talk about movies is talk about the score. Despite me loving scores, listening to them constantly, Benjamin Wallfish's scores for these are so unbelievably good. They capture a youthful, fun spirit while also being extremely fucking creepy. The movie opens with the the children singing. Oh fuck! There's the scores for these are so good. Even just to listen to for them, just the month, they're good. I just needed to get that out there before I forgot and didn't mention it because I'll end up talking about Bill Skarsgård for 2 hours. Who is your favorite of the losers?
Obviously, common thing would be to say Richie.
Yeah, Richie.
But probably Eddie. Just the way he is absolute just hypochondriac, but then he will just unleash a tirade of verbal abuse on Richie as well.
They're so funny they're so funny playing off of each other.
Yeah, both versions.
They both have the same energy with both.
Like we'll get into how good the cast is of the of the young and the old later, but yeah.
Honestly, the casting for everyone is perfect. But the introductions for all the kids are like really well done. Because like Richie's introduced with, I think it's something about a circumcision for Stan.
God.
Stan's plot for the first one is he is going to he's having his bar mitzvah. And he's talking about having a live circumcision in front of the crowd. Where's the beef? Yeah, that's what it was. He like pulls his pants down and he yells, "Where's the beef?" These kids are so fucking funny.
They're great.
They like riff on each other so well. And it's just like it's just well written too. Like they actually talk like kids kind of talk, like just like assholes. Let me check something. What parts in one stand out to you?
I know you want to talk about it as well, but the projector scene. That's the big one for me.
It is so good.
Yeah.
I have talked quite a lot. I want you to talk about that scene first.
So basically it's a scene where we're looking through the history of Derry, the town, and watching a projector slide. What is it like? Just like is it images of like what went down? I'm trying to remember specific.
So what it is, it's the overlay of the town, and I think is it Ben's dad? Oh no, Bill's dad is for some reason he has a map of the town, and they're putting an overlay with the sewer system to show how everything is connected.
Yeah, and then like the projector slide is going through various slides, and then it just out of the kid's control, it just starts speeding up, and we start getting these flashes of Pennywise. Yeah, Pennywise is coming through projector.
It's the projection slides keep clicking, and then it's like a woman and her hair's like blowing, and then it's Pennywise, and then he climbs out of the fucking wall. It's just so scary.
Yeah. Oh God. Pennywise is just so fucking good.
He is so unbelievably good. I had to look up who wrote the first one. So it is hamburgers. I just had it. Where did it go? It's Chase Palmer, Carrie Joji Funkanga. And then
Fukunaga was originally going to direct this, then dropped out. 2015, I want to say.
Oh, I didn't know that because he directed.
Yeah, so
he directed James Bond, No Time to Die.
Yeah, he did, and he did season 1 of True Detective.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's why it's
also had some allegations. Not.
Oh, yikes.
Yes. So yeah.
Yikes. Another one.
Yeah, I think Gary Doberman is the main one who wrote this version that we see in the film.
Yeah, so he wrote this one, he wrote the second one, but then he also wrote the recent he actually did the screenplay for the recent Salem's Lot. He developed the Swamp Thing show, which makes sense because the character who plays one of the older kids is Swamp Thing. And then Chase Palmer doesn't actually have a lot of horror in his past. It's interesting. I think he's doing a Gargoyles series or something, or one of them is working on Gargoyles. Anyway, I just wanted to note the writers here, just because everything is written really well. The dynamics of the kids is so good, but even not even just the kids, the way it is shot is really reminiscent of those 80s films. and the lighting is more modern, like the kind of dull.
Yeah, it's very naturalistic. Which,
Yeah, I don't love it either. But even with that, like things still pop. Like every time Pennywise is on screen, there's also a scene in 2 that we can talk about with the coloring, the color grade changes with Pennywise, which is so fucking cool. But Derry itself is just like a very interesting town because it's got this main street and then it has all these weird sewers. And if you know Stephen King, you already know where the fucking town is. It's in fucking Maine. Everything bad happens in the Northeast. Everything. All monsters. But the thing is, even if that's a Stephen King trope, that is kind of how a lot of myth happens. Like, even a lot of the vampire lore and things like that comes from New England, like the still beating heart, all that kind of stuff comes from there. So like a lot of ghost stories, things like that. But I think that everything is done so pitch perfectly well that it all just clicks. And I just can't stop complimenting the movie, but I really do. I think these are some of my favorite horror movies just because I keep coming back to them and I never am bored watching them.
Yeah, they are, even with the second one being nearly 3 hours long, they are just consistently entertaining watches.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on long movies.
I love a long movie.
I know you do. So some movies don't need it. I think some movies are unnecessarily long to feel prestigious. I don't think this is one of them. I think this is actually one that earns its 3 hours because it's still flashing back and forth between current and past. But there is a lot of other horror in the. What was your favorite non-Pennywise bit from the first one?
From the first one, non-Pennywise. I know, it's just like any time or just the kids are just hanging out is just really fun to watch. I don't think I can place it on one specific moment. Just the general vibing they have.
The leper scene really fucks me up.
Oh, so you
yeah, like
okay. So like when you said Pennywise, scene. I was just counting all of the leper stuff and all that. The leper scene is very good.
Yeah. They're all Pennywise, but like non-clown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it'd be the leper scene. The leper scene's so effectively scary.
But yeah, and that house, like even the house, like the set decoration of like the sunflowers and stuff is just so cool. Also, that house doesn't get demolished in 27 years. Like what the fuck kind of economy does that town have that they're not trying to put condos up there? Like, what kind of fucking
every town needs its drug house.
Yeah, but even then, like, yeah, I guess so. But there's no one doing drugs in there. It's just a fucking killer clown.
But no, they do say it. They do say.
Do they?
Yeah, they do say that it is used by the users and addicts of the town. Oh,
that sucks for them. Could you imagine, like, smoking crack and Pennywise, like, walks out? That suck. Yeah. I think there's that scene's great. Mike's trauma with his family, being burned alive, is terrifying when those scenes come up. Like, those are rough. Yeah,
being alive is just one of the most effective things horror movies can do, to be honest.
What was the line in The Penguin? They're cooked.
Oh, God.
Call your wife. God. Sorry, spoilers for The Penguin. Yeah, that scene fucking rule. Like, what was the other thing that I really wanted to talk about for the first one? The jokes. The jokes. Oh, the relationship between Beverly and Ben.
It's very nice, very cute.
The first scene with them is so good. Like, it's just
Yes.
him dropping he has like, so when you first meet him, he's holding like a project that he built. It's like a lighthouse. It's something. I think it might be, that's not the well house, but it's something just like he built for class. And he drops it because he gets so nervous that there's a girl talking to him. And then she hears the music because he drops his headphones. She picks him up. She listens, and he's listening. What is it, Boys to Men or New Kids on the Block?
New Kids on the Block.
Yeah. New Kids on the Block. And it's just so funny because she's like, she's fine with it. And she goes to sign his yearbook and she realizes no one else had signed it. And it just like really hurts to see, because you see his eyes over the page. And I really love this shot because it's a yearbook with a full blank page, and you see this poor kid's eyes over the top of it. And you can tell he's just a good kid. And it's just heartbreaking. And she signs it, and then she like leaves, and he yells out some, I can't remember what the song title. Something like "Hate to See You Go, Girl" or something. And it's another song, and she doesn't hear him, and he's like, oh. And then he tries to ride his bike. He's like riding his bike away, trying to hold his product, but his headphones are dragging behind him. It is just a perfect moment. Like this is just a kid who is awkward and a new kid, and he just had a pretty girl talk to him, and he's just in heaven. And it just made me smile. It makes me smile every time I see it. Like every performance by every one of these kids. Ben was played by Jeremy Ray Taylor, who was actually not in much. Some of these kids don't really.
No, like Jaden Martell and Sophia Lillis are probably the biggest breakouts.
Yeah, he was in both Goosebumps movies, but I don't. Did you see those?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I saw them both. I love Goosebumps though, so I'm a Goosebumps mark. But yeah, he's actually in a couple other horror things, but I don't think he really went on to do much. But he's a really good actor. Like he like really sells it. But yeah, that scene rules. But even through the whole movie, like they go to his house because he does research, and on the back of his door is I think that's where it's a poster of another boy band, and Beverly closes his door. And when the door closes, we see the poster, but there's like this, what would you call it, like a snap cut where they play the music. And it's like done in kind of like a horror-esque way where like it shows the different faces as the song plays. It is there are so many snap cuts like that in this movie that are just funny. Yeah. Like Andy, we talked about this yesterday. Andy has been talked about to be the director of the Batman movie. This is the Andy I want to show up, not the Andy who directed The Flash. Like this movie, everything about this is so well done and like so effective that you don't see it in other movies. Like there are a lot of track shots of Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård, that you don't see in other movies. Like how they just track his face as he's like running towards someone, and like his body is so every like monster, their body is so wacky inflatable arm tube man-esque. Like just kind of like flail about. But we're focusing on their face because they're all so scary. I think it's the first one has the haunted house scene with the room full of dolls, right? And the clowns for Richie.
Yes.
With Beep Beep Richie. Yeah, Beep Beep Richie. God, that whole sequence is so good. The bully. We have to talk about him too. He's a lot.
Oh God.
But that full scene where it's just Richie by himself in a room, and there's like this like kid-sized casket that opens, and I can't remember what the words are, but inside is like a funeral card for Richie. And it's just like, oh fuck. And there's a doll of him in it. And then it closes and Pennywise lands on it with like a superhero landing. And it's just scary. Like, even though he's wearing like this like flamboyant white, red accented outfit, he's an intimidating presence. What do you want to say about Pennywise?
it's just such a all-encompassing performance. I feel like you'll go into it much better than I will in terms of describing his physicality and everything. But no, Skarsgård just kills it. It's such a good, scary, can be funny at times performance.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He like can be funny, even despite the terrifying nature about him. Yeah, I just don't want me to talk the entire episode just because I have so many thoughts on these movies.
Yeah. And should we before I let you just fully talk about Pennywise, should we talk about just the cast and like how well they managed to do the young and the adult versions?
Holy shit, like unbelievable.
Yeah.
Beverly Marsh, Sophia Lillis. I do want to talk about her before we get into Pennywise because her performance in this one is she is the other girls in the school basically have labeled her as a slut despite her never doing anything. Like she is a totally normal like nothing wrong with anything like that. Like it's just she is being bullied and harassed just like all the other losers. And she gives such a we first meet her and she's like sitting in a bathroom stall, like, and they're just going after her, and I think they pour trash on her. It's horrific. And there is a scene where her dad, it's very heavily implied her dad is doing horrific things, and we see her cut her hair at the kitchen sink, and her hands are trembling, and I think it is a performance that is really, really powerful. And I really think Sophia Lillis is just a fantastic actress. And she's what was she great in recent? Oh, she was great in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, she's really good at Dungeons and Dragons.
And then she's in the one you told me to watch last night, Asteroid City.
Yes, small part, but very also good.
Yeah, she's I think she's a really great actress. And I just needed to make sure we talked about that scene because it's like, oh my God, the blood scene where she's in the sink and it's like shooting out and it covers the entire bathroom. Is it the first one or the second one? Didn't they set some sort of record for use of blood in a movie or something?
I'm not sure. I feel like I remember reading something like that, but I don't think it was it for some reason.
Yeah, maybe it was something else. They were teasing there was a ton of blood.
Abigail. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah, just like oh, that's funny. Sophia Lillis says that she had to stand on a box in some scenes because she was only 5 feet tall. There's a lot of I'm just reading trivia, but some lines of dialogues were improvised. Much of Richie's and Eddie's banter was improv. What? Those kids fucking rule. I cannot believe that is so fucking funny. Oh my God. Are these birth control pills? Yeah, they're for your sister. They're my secret stash. Like the shit they were saying to each other was so fucking funny.
Oh God.
Maybe one of my favorite lines in all of film is in this movie when they're in Ben's bedroom and Richie's making fun of Ben for liking the history of the town. And Ben's like, no, it's actually pretty fascinating. That's the charter for the original town. It used to actually be a beaver catching town. And Richie goes, still is, am I right, boys? And he puts his hand up to get a high five.
No one.
No one high fives him. It is so fucking funny. Like, it is, oh God. Those kids are, I am flabbergasted right now that was improv. And that's why it just feels so like everything, they feel like they're actually friends. And like sometimes with young actors, like you don't get that feeling. They're just perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
I've ever read got Bill Hader.
Yeah. Well, the Bill Hader, that was because is it Finn Wolfhard Finn Wolfhard was like, I really want Bill Hader to play me as an adult. And that's how he literally got the job. Like they called Bill Hader and was like, hey, he wants you to play him as an adult. And that's how it just came to be.
That's so cool.
Yeah, which is rules. And again, perfect fucking casting.
Oh, I think he gives the best performance in that second film.
Oh God, he's so good. What is he? I wrote it down because I didn't want to get it wrong. Because I will quote things and misquote because I have a terrible memory. Oh, here's the truth. You're a sloppy bitch. To a giant spider Pennywise monster. Here's the truth. You're a sloppy bitch. And then he gets hit with the dead lights.
The dead lights.
And his like arms go limp and his mouth opens. It is, God, so fucking funny. When he first sees older Beverly and Ben, he goes, God, you guys look great. What the fuck happened to me?
Happened to me?
Like, Bill, he is so good. Like, oh God, these movies fucking rule.
He jumps into a job of a hut twice at one point.
Yeah, when he's talking about
Eddie's mother.
Yeah. What's up, boy? Fuck. It's funny when he hit in the end of that scene after all the Pennywise shit happens. Where like the fortune cookies, like one births like a chicken fetus, one has bad arm, one's a fucking eye. He's slamming the chair on the table, and the lady for the restaurant comes. She goes, "Is everything all right?" And he goes, "Yep." And he like gives her a thumbs up. Oh, he's so funny.
Don't fucking after that when we're leaving out the kid.
Holy shit. He's yelling at it and he goes, dude, it's from your act. Oh,
I don't write my own stuff.
Oh, and then what's his face is yelling at me. He's like, I knew it. They're so funny together. I just fuck. Bill Hader's so good. Bill Hader is just a treasure. I really need to finish Barry. Oh, God, the Job of the Hutt voice fucking got me. No, even when they're kids, like this is what I was telling you. Yeah, when I was telling you last night that when they're walking out of the house and goddamn, Eddie is saying goodbye to his mom. I keep getting mixed up. Eddie's saying goodbye to his mom. He kisses her goodbye. And she's like, can I get one too? Like, what the fuck? Fuck. They make another comment about his mom too. Like the back and forth between those two is so good, and we'll learn why later.
But made for the film, that
is it?
Yeah, it's all hinted at, but it's never anything explicit in the book like it is in the second film.
Huh.
I think it was partially done because of the opening of the second film as well.
Oh yeah, the hate crime.
Yeah,
wild that a film opened that way. But
it's in the book. It's taken directly from the book. Yeah,
I mean it was Stephen King, so. But I think I have never read the book, but I think the movie is probably better. Okay, so we're talking around it, but Richie and Eddie in the finale of the film, you realize that they actually love each other.
It's more Richie has unrequited feelings for Eddie, I'd say.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the bridge.
Yeah, but that's all Richie.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they probably did it together.
No, it's because we see young Richie doing it as well.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, they would have been nice together, but can't do that because he's dead.
All great relationships are built on mocking the absolute living shit out of each other.
Yeah. God. Fucking goddamn. Sorry, I was thinking about
Job of the Hutt again.
No, I was thinking about Call of Duty. So God, Richie is such a good character. And like all of them together, we haven't really talked about Bill that much. I'll be honest, I don't think Bill is that interesting of a character until he's an adult. Like he's the POV, so I don't think he really needs to be. Still a good performance, and I think it's interesting to see the truth that he wasn't actually sick that morning.
Yeah.
When Georgie went out and got killed. And like the guilt that he's had to live with his entire life because of that. Yeah.
I really do like it's in the first one where he gives a big speech as they're about to enter the house, and then Richie just goes, fuck, he didn't even stutter.
Yeah. Yeah, because he has a stutter in the movies. And like you can see how as an adult, like when he's talking, it's not there until he's flustered, and then it comes back. Which is
like as soon as he gets a phone call from Mikey, it starts.
Yeah. And it's just so well done. Like James McAvoy rocks. He's just a great actor. And Jaden Martell, who plays him as a kid, is great too. Like, yeah, there is not a single bad performance in both of these, including Stephen King's cameo. Stephen King's a great actor, actually.
I love how open he was to just have a joke about endings.
Yeah, is that something he's well known for being bad at?
It's a common criticism.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, because I was like, why do they keep bringing this up? And I was like, it has to be a reflection of.
Yeah, it's a common criticism of King's.
Interesting. But that whole scene is so funny because like Bill is having a problem getting out the word bike, and Stephen King's like bowling ball. Like he's just like naming different things with and then he goes, fucking bike. And he goes, well, if you're going to use that language, like it
was a fun thing. It didn't end up happening, but there was originally going to be a flashback to the bike owner, and it was going to be Joe Hill playing him.
Playing Stephen King?
Pawn shop owner. Yeah.
That would have been really cool.
And I'm trying to think if there was one other one, like a cameo they were trying to get, of a janitor when older Ben is leaving the school and he bumps into a janitor.
Yeah.
That was going to be Mo.
Really?
Yeah.
Andy and him are friends, aren't they?
Yes.
They're like good friends. What, they didn't do anything together, right?
No, but I think it's those two, and I want to say Alfonso Cuarón, all good friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I wonder if he's in the Sunday model painting group too. I loved it. One day we'll do Del Toro.
Also, another cameo I want to talk about is on the films on Bill's film set, the director.
Who is that? That's
Peter Bogdanovich.
I only know him from Sopranos.
Yeah, Paper Moon, What's Up, Doc.
Yeah, Sopranos.
So many classics.
He played Melfi's therapist, I think. I can't remember, but yeah, he died recently, didn't he?
Yeah. When was it? Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like a big name to get just for a
he's a big name director, so just to show up, just to be like playing a director is really fun.
Yeah, I do like that. That's a funny bit. I didn't realize he was a big director. I legitimately knew him because of Sopranos.
Did he win for Best Up Doc? No, he had nominations for both What's Up Doc and Paper Moon.
I probably should see those.
Best Director and
literally
Best Director.
On Andy's IMDb page, it's a picture of him and Del Toro, who has a Gears of War sticker on his laptop. Yeah. Oh, I forgot that he did Mama. That was his entrance. He did the short film. Great short film. I didn't really like the full movie, but do we want to talk about the adults and do we want to talk about everything before we get to Pennywise and leave Pennywise?
Yeah, I feel like we should leave Pennywise for the end so you can just go off on your tangent.
All right, so what do you want to get to? Who do you want to talk about?
I feel like we covered Hayden and McAvoy, so we should probably talk about the other big name in the cast, which is Jessica Chastain as older Beverly.
Yeah,
so good.
She has some really, again, powerful scenes. Like her husband is clearly abusive, and she escapes and she puts her ring
on the
stairs, and she's walking out.
Stairs, yeah.
And she walks out through the rain. It's just like a really good shot of like her leaving her current life behind and having to go back to more trauma and like how she got to this point.
So,
go ahead.
No, let's finish with talk about the performance, but then there's some stuff I want to go in the book, changes from the book in terms of certain characters I don't want to talk about a bit.
Yeah, she has some really sick scenes in this one. Yeah, she has, oh my God, the fucking naked grandma scene.
Oh my God.
So she goes back to the apartment that she grew up in. And it's this old lady who lives there who like makes her tea or something. But she like finds the poem that Ben wrote her when she was a kid, and she's sitting in the room, and we see down the hall that the old woman is standing there naked. And then she does the wacky inflatable arm too, man, where she's like, and she like, runs away. It's like, oh fuck, nothing good is coming. And then she's singing in the family room later, and she's like in the dark in the other room, and like the lady is now 8 foot tall, has 3 mouths, completely naked. Just
runs in.
Oh God, it's so funny.
It's so good. No, in terms of like her performance, just is great as well. Like, if that's the thing about these films, they got great performances across the board.
I mean, her scene in the bathroom, it's like, the thing that I really love about both of them is that the second one, there's so many things set up in one that don't play out till 2, and they're like, they actually connect. Like there's like Richie's I can't remember what you call that thing when you die, not obituary, but it's like they give it out at your funeral, whatever that is. But like that shows up again. She's in the bathroom from the first one in the second one for her like final fight against Pennywise type thing, and it's filling up with blood. And like the toilet is literally pouring blood up, and she's almost drowning in this blood.
This is Oscar-nominated Jessica Chastain, by the way. Like that's what I love. Like they got Chastain and McAvoy are not known for just being in horror movies.
No, and they fucking rock.
And they commit. So in terms of changes from the books, there's some pretty big ones that more come to the fore in the second film in the adult stuff. So both Bill's wife and Beverly's husband have bigger roles in the film. And they both come to the town searching for Bill and Beverly separately.
Really?
Yeah. And like, I think it's essentially, I'm trying to remember specific, but the husband, essentially like what happens to the bully happens to the husband where he gets enthralled by Pennywise. And he kidnaps Bill's wife and takes her to the sewers. So like a part of the ending is them also trying to save her, similar to how they saved Beverly in the first one when she's been like thinged by the deadlights. And like I can't remember how the husband dies, but he dies at some point. I think he's killed by Pennywise. And the wife is like catatonic at the end of the book when they escape. And in the book, the bike, was it called Shadow? Is that Bill's bike? Is it called Shadow?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, in the book, Shadow is like a lot more of like a mystical effect to it. And so like at the end of the book, Bill takes his catatonic wife out on a bike ride, and that awakens her from her catatonia.
Huh.
Yeah. It's interesting. obviously me just explaining it doesn't really do any justice.
I kind of don't. I'm glad they went the way they did and left those out, because I think that the movie's already 3 hours long. But also then,
going to the old woman. No, yes, it is no way to include that.
Yeah.
But going to the old woman in Beverly's house, that, I think the old woman scene actually in the book happens to young Beverly.
Oh, no.
And stuff like that. And then when she goes back there as an adult, this is where I assume Stephen had some substance when he was writing this bit, because there's a few different versions. There's a few stuff at this point of the book where it's like, okay. But in the book, when Beverly goes back, it's not the old woman, it is the witch from Hansel and Gretel.
What?
Yeah.
What? It's just.
And in and Ben's one, when he's in the library, it's Dracula.
What?
Is the monster he faces. It's straight up Dracula.
What? Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I think that might have been when Stephen was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bill does end up. Bill is now Dracula, so.
Also, the Paul Bunyan statue is from the book.
Yeah, that one, that fucking scene where it's like coming after them is wild. Yeah. Sorry, I just read that Bill Skarsgård. He just had his daughter when they were filming this, and he used to FaceTime her in full Pennywise makeup.
Jesus Christ!
Well, she's a baby; she wouldn't know.
Yeah,
still. Yeah, could you imagine? Your dad calling you just full Pennywise makeup. Hey, Dad. That's the King. Okay, Dracula.
Fascinating guy.
Yeah. That's wild. Also, before we started recording, you told me that Adult Mike is the Old Spice guy.
Old Spice guy.
I need everybody to know that. That blew my
I only
mind.
found out when I was looking up for cast before we started recording. It's like wild.
Yeah, I did not even think that, because like you don't really see his like how built he is in this movie, so I guess it wouldn't even have connected to me. Yeah. What do you have? Anything else before we get to Pennywise?
Just not really. Just like all the performances, even older Stanley, who is not in most of the film, is a good performance as well.
He is, and the letter he sends, like the reading
of the letter,
is sad. And like his suicide is because he's too afraid to go back, and he knows if he doesn't, then they're all going to die. And
he knows if he was too afraid. Yeah,
it's selfless. It's still super depressing. It's selfless in a way that he knew he was going to die either way, so he was like, I may as well save everyone, and that's just like heartbreaking. It's just
when Eddie, one of Eddie's final moments is making a "your mother" joke.
Yes,
right before he dies.
God, your mother jokes are so funny in this.
Constant. It's just constant.
God, the birth control comment, like they're all so. And I would love to know which ones were improv, because I really want to know which ones were improv and which ones were written, because I would love to see them do more movies. I guess we haven't see Finn do more.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned at all that there is a prequel show coming out.
Yeah,
called Welcome to Derry, which will be Bill Skarsgård is coming back as Pennywise, which was one thing that clinched it for I am excited about the show.
Yeah.
But I can't remember exactly how it's been built, but I feel like it's been built as an anthology series with each season focusing on a different event of Pennywise. Is it every 27 years he comes back?
Yeah.
So this, I think the first season is the 62, 63.
Yes. It'd be cool if they keep going back further.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind them just jumping about a bit. So like, the next one is like 1830 or something.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I just think in general, it's such a cool concept that he is coming back every 27 years. I just think the concept of Pennywise is cool. I don't think the Dark Tower shit is cool or interesting. I don't
like Matthew and the Turtle.
No. The turtle is referenced in this a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, like, it's nowhere near what there is in the book, but there is like a few references. Is the turtle in the book? Yes, they where they go on, I don't know what the correct parlance is to use. So they do the ritual of Chud in the first film, in the as kids as well. And doing that, I think, is Bill and Richie have contact with the turtle.
So for people who are listening,
yeah, please explain the turtle.
There is Stephen King's stuff is connected in a multiverse type ordeal.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is in one universe.
Yeah,
but then
is Cujo also in the same universe?
I think so.
A lot of his books are on the are like in the same thing, but there is this omnipotent turtle who like is a protector of the universe.
Something like I've not read the Dark Tower, so I don't know the exact specifics.
We don't even have to get into specifics because there is a giant space turtle
who is Pennywise's ancient enemy.
Yeah. He is Pennywise's Batman. just know that when you're watching
I'm Bat Turtle.
Yeah, the turtle is a reference to a space turtle who protects the universe. Pennywise is also, what does he call himself? The Eater of Worlds.
Yes.
And then they're just like, nah, you're a bitch. Like, they just keep yelling at him. So, Pennywise.
Yeah, off you go.
Bill Skarsgård is a fucking treasure. One of my favorite stories is that in the second film, Bill Hader is talking to Bill Skarsgård about the eye thing.
The set photos of it, so you can go find them.
Hader asks Skarsgård what kind of editing was done to achieve the eye effect. So in the movie, his eyes go different ways. Like they're just kind of like soupy floating around. And Bill's like, how do they do that with editing? And Skarsgård, in full costume and makeup, responds by saying, oh, you mean this? And shows him that he can do it naturally and scares the shit out of Hader. Like, he's just a fucking menace. He's just a scary man.
It's so fun. Those side photos crop up every so often on Twitter, and I just laugh every single time.
It's so funny. And for chapter 1, they kept Bill and all the kids pretty separate to kind of like keep the fear alive for the kids. But between shots, he would talk to Bill would talk to the kids to like calm them down and stuff, like to be like, hey, I'm like a real guy. But I know Bill had more fun on the second one because he was actually able to like hang out and talk with his co-stars. So he wasn't just isolated. But there's so many things about his performance that are he has a very natural, uneasy nature about him. The way he moves, he has like a spider effect about him in this where he can like move just horrifically. I don't know how to describe it other than that. He is just scary. And he has these prosthetic teeth, like these two like buck teeth. And they call in real life and in the film, they cause him to drool because of how it's like in his mouth. So he's like drooling half of the movie. Like there are certain points where he like you can see there's nothing behind his eyes, and like they kind of start just going different directions, and he's just like in another world, and it's just such a scary, eerie look because he's just like he's truly monstrous in this. Yeah. I don't know how much. I think there was like 5 hours of prosthetics and stuff. Like he has a huge forehead, but there's something about the way he even with all of his body movements in this and stuff. I think it's his face that sells everything because the way Andy does those focuses on his face, especially for like the dancing scene.
Yeah.
There's
the camera just sticks on his face while everything is moving around him.
Yes, it's so unsettling. It's just like an uncanny valley. Like this is a monster. Like this is a true blue monster. And it's not CGI. It's just Bill is such a good performer. And it's so funny because like Bill in other movies is like a really attractive, like real life. He's a
good looking guy.
He's one of the Skarsgårds. Like that family is the most attractive family in Hollywood. I've said it once and I'll say it again and I'll say it a million times. They can fight the Hemsworths. There's no competition. They're just they're attractive and they're pretty scary guys.
Also, even go watch Barbarian for Bill Skarsgård performance that doesn't go the way you would have expected Bill Skarsgård performance to go. Speaking of old ladies running out of the dark,
that's exactly what I was thinking about when I saw that old lady. I was like, oh shit, Barbarian. But he's I'm trying to think of like the haunted house scene. He's so fucking scary. And the one scene that always sticks out to me is they're watching, I think it's the bully's dad is watching TV. Mm-hmm. And it's like a kid show.
It's like a Mr. Rogers type thing. Yeah.
And the TV is basically just telling him to kill his dad over and over. Yeah. But as he does it, Pennywise appears and it's like, he is such a presence. And like, there's pictures of like the past where you see Pennywise in them and you only see Pennywise once in this film without makeup. Oh, hello, Mimi. I agree. Sorry, the cat wanted to get her opinion on Pennywise because she watched it with me.
That cat is traumatized right now.
She's pretty scary too. This is the cat that everyone can hear when we're playing games or I'm recording, and she will just scream from across the house just to let her presence be known. You want to go?
She wants to be on PlayStation chat with us.
Yeah, she can't decide if she wants to hang out in the office with me right now or go out in the hall and be a menace to me. But shit, where was I? I was talking about Pennywise. Oh dear, where was I? Pennywise.
The bully's father.
Oh, the bully's father. Killed. Yeah, he just the way he like appears. He everywhere that he. Oh, the when he's seen without the makeup in the second one when Jessica Chastain is in the house.
Yeah, like we get a flashback to like where the geist of Pennywise might have come from.
Yeah, like so Pennywise the Dancing Clown, like this clown that came through with a carnival, and the carnival caught fire and everyone died or something. Can't exactly remember the carnival story, but you see him without the makeup, but he's like putting makeup on, and he's telling her they're never going to escape, they're not going to live, they're not going to beat him. And the way, so Pennywise is all white makeup, but he has these red lines over his eyes that go down and they connect to his lips. And it's a really, really well designed minimalistic clown makeup. But the way he does it in the film is by taking his hands and ripping his flesh. And it is so cool. And he's got like a terrible hair and he just looks so cool, even when he's not in makeup. And even the stuff that isn't like that's CGI, like as I was watching it, I watched the last hour of it this morning. This is the first movie that I feel like has a final boss, because you have fought Pennywise in so many different forms through the first chapter and the second chapter. In the end, he turns into this mega form where at one point he like puts his hand in the air and like hundreds of other hands come out and form a blade. And it is just such a cool visual. And he's a giant spider that's chasing him around in like this this small enclosed area. And like in a video game, when you get to those areas, you know you're about to get into a boss fight. And it's like wherever like I guess he crashed on Earth. Like you see where like the comet came down or whatever brought him to Earth is there. And it's just so fucking cool. The Deadlights, I don't know too much about them. Do you know what the Deadlights are? Like, what is that whole thing?
It's, again, 7 years since I read the books, and I don't even think then they go properly into detail on what it is. But it is his true form, I think. That is what he truly... If you can get a visual representation of an ancient cosmic entity, that's the closest it would come.
Yeah. So the Deadlights are like these 3 spitting lights that you can see in his mouth.
Yeah. And
then you can see them in they like float above the arena in the final fight. I don't know if there is a stronger monster performance. So I easily would put him up there with Freddy Krueger for the level of performance, because Tim Curry was a very specific Pennywise, and I think Tim Curry, one of my biggest heroes, like the reason I wanted to be funny or do anything like this in the first place, because of Andy, not because of Pennywise. But like, I don't think I could ever see anyone else do Pennywise after this. Like I could never I would never want to see someone else do Freddy. Like I think this is the Pennywise performance that is like, that's it. Like no one else is ever going to be Pennywise. It will always be Bill Skarsgård.
Which is why I was so happy when he was confirmed to be coming back for the show.
And oh god, I'm so pumped for that. I just want more. I genuinely want more of him. And I'm excited to get it. There are so many scenes in this that are just so... The backyard. Oh, that's what we're going to talk about. There's 2 specific scenes. When Ben goes back to the school as an adult, and we see Pennywise chase him through the school. When Ben gets into the locker and he thinks he's safe, there is a shot where it pans back so you can see that Pennywise is behind him. But the face that Pennywise is making is so fucking funny. He's just like, whoa. And then he does, one of my favorite lines is the, kiss me, fat boy. Like, that one stuck as a fat boy is always going to be stuck in my mind. I love that line.
Same here. It's
so fucking, kiss me, fat boy. Like, and again, Tim Curry did it too. They're both so good in different ways. And it's a shame we didn't get to see Tim Curry like show up in this or anything like that. But
yeah.
So there's that one. But then there is Richie in the park, where Pennywise.
I know your secret, your dirty little secret.
Dirty little secret. Like how he like changes the tone. And it's like sort of reminiscent. I don't want to make this comparison, but Mark Hamill's Joker, when he like is so funny, but then he like has this really dark turn. It's that. Like it's just like he is a master of like being scary and funny at the same time. And he's like, the way again, the design on this movie is so fucking good. The balloons are set up in an upside down pyramid. So typically when you see balloons, they like pillow out, but these are like honing in to the string he's holding on to. And I just think it's such a cool visual. But that scene, if you notice, when he shows up, the color grading changes. Like if you go rewatch it again, like pay attention, like just like take a second to look at it. The color grading of the entire scene changes. And it's like, it's this really vibrant color that we don't see anywhere else in the film that I just really liked. And him singing a little song and going after Richie was just so cool. I just love Pennywise. I just think Pennywise is incredible. And again, as someone who not even just doesn't like, I despise King's writing. It's so superfluous with description, and like I don't think his characters are really that well written, and I don't have anything to say about his endings because I don't usually get to the end because they're 9,000 pages long. But I think he nailed it with Pennywise. But being brought to the screen, I think Bill is what cemented Pennywise as like the horror clown forever for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, art has nothing on Pennywise. I'm so excited for a show with like I get an hour of Pennywise coming up.
A week.
Yeah.
9 episodes, I believe the first season is.
I get 9 hours. You know what's really funny?
Muschietti directing the first 4 episodes as well.
I know you've seen Beetlejuice. How much screen time did Beetlejuice have in the first movie?
15 minutes.
Pennywise has 4 minutes of dialogue in the first movie.
Jesus.
He has 9 in the second movie. That in 9, I think, let me double check on that one. He has 9 minutes in a. Oh, sorry, 7.
Jesus.
In a
it's like 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Hour picture. And he is so fucking effective.
Yeah.
It's just those types of performances blow my mind. That you can make such an impact in a movie that I forget that you're only in it for however. I mean,
Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, he's barely in it too.
15 minutes, won Best Actor, not Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars for it.
Batman is only in, was it Batman and Batman Returns for...
Yeah, there's not many Batman scenes in those movies.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, the biggest one of all time is Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws isn't really, I mean, Bruce did his thing, but...
Bruce did his thing despite the technical issues with Bruce.
Despite it being a fucking nightmare. But like, I think it's so effective when you can have something either so impactful or so scary that it doesn't need to be there the entire time to drive the fear. I think the absence of the thing makes it stronger.
Yeah, I think, not to go too off topic, but I think that's why a lot of my favorite Doctor Who stories are the ones where it's like a cosmic entity you just never see.
Yeah, because I think it's effective that it's out there and you cannot be ready for it.
It's unknowable. You just cannot know its form.
Yeah, I really do love it. Chapter 1 and 2, and I'm really excited for the. I'm really excited for the show. Yeah, I hope it's good.
I'll watch it anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I mean, Bill Skarsgård's in it. I'm gonna watch it regardless. It could just be 9 hours of Bill Skarsgård staring at the camera in Pennywise makeup, and I'd watch the entire thing. He doesn't even have to say a word. I'll be there. God, it just did some. Oh my God, when his mouth opens in some of the scenes, like it's just scary. Like he's got like 6 layers of teeth, and he rips a kid's arm off, or when he bites the guy in the sewer.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Or when Mike is getting attacked and he's just like chewing on an arm, and he gets it to wave. He's just so good. Like Bill Skarsgård fucking rules. And now he's playing fucking Dracula. He's playing Nosferatu. We haven't seen
Nosferatu.
Yeah. I mean, it's just Dracula, though.
I will be annoyed if we do show him before I get to sit down and watch the film.
Yeah. So will I. And he's like dedicated to it too. Like what did he say? He wanted to like smell like a corpse or something fucking wild. He's just again, the whole Skarsgård clan is just fucking good. Like his brother, his dad, he not to go crazy off topic for Bill, but he has not been. I haven't seen The Crow yet, so I can't say. But he looks hot in The Crow, but I don't think I'll ever watch it. He was great in John Wick. He was like, I just really like Bill Skarsgård. Wait, what the fuck? He was in Eternals?
He plays the bad guy he voices the bad guy who is like a CGI construct.
Yeah, that's not enough to get me to watch it.
I like Eternals.
You just listen to me talk for like 20 minutes about Bill Skarsgård, and even that's not enough to get me to watch Eternals. He's been in a lot of where is he from? Switzerland?
Switzerland, Sweden, one of the Nordics.
Yeah, hold on. Sweden, yeah. Even his brother's a horror guy too. Like
Alex, yeah.
Yeah, what did he just do?
Infinity Pool.
Yeah. Oof. What a picture. What a picture. Have you seen that?
No, I've not.
There's another sibling, isn't there?
Yeah, I think Papa Stellan just recently had another kid in the last couple of years.
The dad did?
Yeah.
Good for him.
What a guy.
Yeah, Stellan is great too. I love Stellan.
Skarsgård.
God. He was he's great in that movie you liked. Dune.
Yeah.
Dude, he's nuts. Andor, he was great in. Yeah. God.
He's as a very young man, he's in The Hunt for Red October.
Is he? He's in Good Will Hunting too.
Yeah. He's great in Good Will Hunting.
I should probably watch Chernobyl. He's in that too. God,
Good Will Hunting. Really good in Chernobyl.
God, Good Will Hunting.
But we talk about the Skarsgård family general, so we should probably wrap it up.
No, it 1 and 2 fucking rules. It really is worth your time to watch, even if you're not a fan of horror. Check it out.
To rip a joke I posted on Twitter last night. If you want to watch a 2019 movie starring James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain with the main antagonist as an ancient cosmic entity, don't watch Dark Phoenix.
Oof. I always forget they made that movie, to be honest with you.
I think everyone does.
Isn't Jessica Chastain bald in that movie?
So Jessica Chastain and her aliens were originally going to be Skrulls, but because Captain Marvel ended up using Skrulls, they couldn't use Skrulls in the X-Men movie. So they just changed them to something random and nothing works.
Huh. That sucks.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't care that much.
Go watch it. Good movies.
Yeah, go watch it. Just watch it. And then watch Barbarian too, because Barbarian fucking rocks.
Barbarian. Shout out to Justin Long.
Yeah, Justin Long fucking rules. Oh god, dude, you're gonna love his VHS short.
I'm so excited to watch it.
Hey, check out everything we do at gatecrashers.fan. We have a lot of reviews, interviews, and things happening. We're back on our game. The show will be back soon.
With hopefully a Twin Peaks episode to kick things off.
Yeah,
I am finished with.
I am. I'm almost on season 1 of Twin Peaks.
Hell yeah.
I'll ask you this offline. But yeah, check us out, gatecrashers.fan, and thanks for listening.
Catch you later.
Gatecrashers.